Oh,
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! In the year 2021, all you good boys and girls are getting an episode of Matt and Luke's Sci-Fi Sanctuary. Ho, ho, ho! Give me a crimmer!
that's forever. I know you told Luke that story.
Yeah. I think any Christmas episode we ever do for the rest of time, Matt's going to reference that story.
Give me a Christmas.
Yeah, sorry, it's Give Me a Christmas. Because I have a Christmas song I've never recorded, which it would have like synthesized horns and a cheeseball beat, and have some guy just keep screaming "Merry Christmas, y'all" every few seconds.
Give me your Christmas.
Yeah,
that was in the blotter of Creative Loafing, is where that was, and it was just someone yelled that and stuck somebody up around the holidays.
Makes sense. I mean, you can't fault them for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, someone gave me this bow and arrow.
Yeah, that's how you get things.
I'm Jewish, fool.
Happy Hanukkah, and a punch to the face. That's how you respond.
Impaled on menorah.
Now, today's particular Christmas movie is Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, the sci-fi classic from 1964.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, you foreshadowed me on the last podcast we did.
So, my first introduction to this film, and I was about 13 or 14, for Christmas, my parents got me a big box set of 40 classic sci-fi films on DVD. Like, double-sided DVDs, real cheap. And they were using the definition of classic, where classic just means old. So there are a couple of great ones in there. That was my first introduction to Gamera. There was some bikini Amazon vixens versus the space robot stuff. There's a couple of cool actual classics. And then, this was on there.
I had a set like it. I guess there were like 87 different sets like that. But
my dad's probably got a video of me on it might have been my birthday, not Christmas, but sat at the dinner table just reading out the names of films and laughing to myself, and eventually getting to Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
So just in my hosting duty, I suppose we should say Andrew's over there. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Mary Crimble.
Coming back in today. So okay, that's done. This might have been the first time I watched the whole thing, because I mean that's a bit of a slog. It's a very colorful slog, I'll give it that. But
so
not that long. When
I was looking this up, when you put the name into Google, it comes up on lists with Plan 9 from Outer Space and Manos Hands, but worst films of all time lists. It's all right.
There's some nice sets.
It's a Christmas film, It's about standard for a Christmas film, but this one's in space. I like it.
I might have watched a few minutes of it sometime. I don't think I watched the whole thing before, but I definitely remember the absolutely vile earworm theme song.
Right. I actually made some notes about this film, and my first one. So in that theme song, they spell the word, right? Santa. Santa.
But they say Santy.
Santa. And then, they say Santa Claus.
That's because they're stupid kids.
Do Americans say that? Do they say Santa Claus?
No, they don't. They got the dumb kids to do this one.
Right.
It's Santa Claus.
Also, we should mention that this film is on YouTube.
Several times on YouTube.
I actually took a screenshot of one of the YouTube comments. The one that was before you even click on the comments, the one that's highlighted. And most of the comments are quite nice. It's just I used to watch this on Christmas. This is what we had before the more modern films. But the top comment was, God, I love America. Thank you for our culture. Hooray.
Now, most of this movie takes place on Mars, though.
Yeah, or the North Pole.
Mars and the North Pole.
But you two, as Americans, did this film fill you with patriotic fervor?
For Mars. It does have that sequence earlier on that does have no, you know what it felt like? Dr. Strangelove, when they're showing all the stock footage of jets and stuff. I was like, it was in black and white. It was in black and white.
That is quite true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
What's your history on this one? I guess you've seen it a few times. Is this your Christmas?
Yeah, this one, Elvira had it, actually, come to think of it. This was on Movie Macabre. It's she often had to just show whatever was owned by the, whatever stock stuff that they owned, the company could own, or stuff that no one owned, that they could play. And so this was one from around the Christmas time shows. So and I liked it. I thought it was genuinely funny. Like, I love the characters. I think the writing's actually good. I don't have a problem with this movie. Like, I don't think, when I saw Mystery Science Theater do their episode on it, I remember thinking, I was like, okay, but the movie's already funny. It's already a comedy. I laugh at it, and not because, oh, this is bad, but no, I actually like the movie.
I should define my slog a little bit. The slog was, he just put out like the Peter Jackson Get Back documentary, which is like Lord of the Rings length, right? So I'm like, I need to get through Santa Claus so I can watch more of that.
No, yeah. I knew you would be one of these people that eats that up, that 900-hour Beatles thing.
Yeah. So the past few nights, I'm like, I must get through Santa Claus, but I want to watch the Beatles. That's my Thanksgiving present. Not that we have Thanksgiving here or anything. So, Andrew, you said you've seen this several times then?
Yeah.
Okay, I decided to put you on the spot and do this oral hygiene style. I got on the train. I was going to start writing the synopsis myself. And then I just started reading a book about the creation of Los Angeles for some reason.
That sounds like time better spent, I'll say.
It was, but I feel like I can put you on the spot for this one then. So
yeah. Oh, no, I'm trying to go anytime. Okay. We want the synopsis for Santa Claus Conquers the Martians?
Let's roll it.
Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is a story of Martian kids who become obsessed with Santa and Christmas because they don't have it on Mars. So what do the leaders of Mars do? Go get Santa Claus, bring him to Mars, have him create Christmas there. But there's a bad guy. It has its own Grinch that wants to throw his monkey face into the whole works.
You can spoil the ending if you want. Does he succeed?
No.
No, he does not succeed.
He does not succeed. He's the turd of the galaxy. That's the award that's his Christmas gift. The turd of the galaxy.
I guess we're going to talk about actors. I didn't bother. I mean, there's Pia Zadora, but
she's not. I mean, she's
just here. I just remember her name. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, she doesn't really have. There's people who think Jamie Farr is in it.
I thought it was Rob Schneider.
Oh yeah,
I got Rob Schneider vibes off of him. We're talking about Droppo, of course. Droppo, right?
Yeah. Yes, Droppo.
Okay, here I do want to put Droppo's head into a bandsaw.
What's wrong with Droppo?
Everything's wrong with Droppo.
I like Droppo.
Okay, no, yeah. I want.
You're alone on this one.
I want to have Jar Jar put him into a bandsaw.
Droppo was great.
Droppo is kind of the guy who everybody thinks is an idiot. He's the kind of the underdog, the kick around guy, and he ends up getting like the best gig ever for any Martian. He ends up getting to be Mars's Santa Claus, because at one point what's the guy in charge? What was his name?
So he's called Kima and his wife's called Moma, because it's just King Martian and Mum Martian.
Yeah,
and the boy and girl are called Bomar and Gama because they're boy Martian and girl Martian.
I mean, it's great.
He's the script.
I didn't even notice that until Wikipedia told me, and I was like, oh my god. Yeah.
Why mess around with it? Yeah, he's like, oh, Santa, you've been Santa on Earth for years. You got to stay on Mars.
This is Barsoom.
Yeah, this will be better. And he's like, do you have dental? And they're like, no.
I'm out.
Like, you do realize I eat like candy for 3 meals a day every day. Like, I need dental.
How new are you guys? I'm freaking Santa Claus.
Candy canes are not good for your teeth.
No. And Santa, I mean, he also smokes a pipe. I mean,
I'm sure he's got a fifth of scotch in the back pocket too.
Well, I mean, you got to stay smashed. I mean, look at those rosy red cheeks.
I mean, that is how you survive in an environment that cold. It's just drinking all the time.
Yep. Yep. Is that the North Pole? Absolutely. So no, I definitely I feel for Droppo. I'm like, first of all, his name's Droppo. What a life, right? Everybody gets all these other names that sound at least like alien, and they're like Droppo. That sounds like he drops everything, or he's a turd that fell from the sky.
You know my opinion.
He's just the one guy on Mars who just has a sense of fun.
Yeah. No, I he was one of these characters that's clearly made for kids' enjoyment. Like I said, it is a comedy, and the jokes, the humor, that all works. And Droppo is kind of part of that. He's, he's the whipping boy, but that's why he gets, that's why he gets a good ending.
Oh, what's also good is he doesn't. I mean, just because of the kind of film it is, but even when he is being sort of dumped on by everyone else, he still seems pretty jolly.
Yeah,
like,
that's a Santa quality.
Yeah, Well, I actually really like the Santa in this because he's kidnapped by Martians, but he's immediately just like, well, Martians don't have a Christmas. I guess I'll take care of this. He not
takes everything in stride.
Yeah, he's not upset by any of it.
Yeah, I was about to say their Santa was pretty solid, but I was like, well, most malls get their Santas pretty solid.
Yeah, I can't think of many like Santas where I was about to say many bad Santas, and I remembered the film Bad Santa. So.
That's a fantastic Santa.
Yeah. Well, the thing with this movie is, and while you're watching, and this is what I always think about it, is like, this was made for children, clearly. So you gotta be really delicate with how you portray Santa. This is like their Jesus. So you can't really get too sideways with Santa. He's got to be sort of perfect.
One thing I love about this film is in this film's universe, Santa is just a known quantity. Like, he's not a secret. Like, they send reporters to him. The United Nations meets on it when Santa is kidnapped. Like,
right.
He's just a fact of life. And I love that.
Yeah.
These days, Christmas films bend over backwards to say Santa keeps it all secret or whatever.
No. This is for kids,
The reporter at the beginning certainly had vibes of the Willy Wonka reporters.
Oh gosh, that guy didn't quite seem human, did he?
One thing, the scene at the start where Santa's being interviewed. Did you catch the reporter's name?
Give it to me.
Mr. Anderson.
Oh, all right.
Santa's repeatedly saying, "So, Mr. Anderson."
How are you going to speak without a mouth? Because that's what Santa does. Miss Claus gets short shrift.
We just got done recording a podcast episode of Matt's Twilight Zone podcast about a guy with an awful wife, and here's Santa with a terrible wife as well.
I mean, they make her pretty jolly, but I think
he just nags. Yeah.
This may be the first time Mrs. Claus is ever shown on screen. Is that correct? Was this movie's known for?
You could be right.
Yeah, I would not feel like something must have done it. But do you think if Santa had been there for more than a few weeks, they would have given him a concubine or something? Santa has needs.
Maybe that's what they had in mind for Droppo.
I'll be taking Droppo with me.
I'm going to give Droppo the drop.
That's right. Droppo your pants.
Okay, Luke's scouring for information. What do you
I was seeing if there is a straight answer.
Mrs. Claus.
She was mentioned in the short story A Christmas Legend in 1849.
Mentioned is different.
But
I was way off. Like, actually shown on screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, but it's not giving me a quick answer.
That is a pretty oblique fact when you think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you actually prove that or not. I feel like
the kids are kids. They only get 2 takes of the kids because of laws and stuff, which is good. But
the first motion picture to depict Mrs. Claus was 1964 Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Okay, confirmation.
What's up? Hey,
nice, well remembered.
Where do you find this stuff?
Wikipedia. The Wikipedia article on Mrs. Claus.
What? Well done, Wikipedia.
Yeah. Okay. So we get a slightly shrill Mrs. Claus for her first run on.
So that means this is a groundbreaking feminist movie.
There you are.
Well, she does seem to actually be the one running Santa's workshop. He's just there to swan about being jolly.
Because as he complains, all he does on Mars is hit buttons.
Yep.
Now, when the toys, the messed up toys come out, those are awesome. I want those toys. Like the baseball racket, that was cool. I want a baseball racket.
Was, and the baby with the bear's head and the bear with the baby's head.
Considering most of these Martians have probably never played Earth sports before, I'm sure they would have been fine with like a baseball bat with a racket on the end.
Like, like how would they know, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bear in a baby's body. They're all like green and have antenna anyway, so whatever. The styles on Mars are lacking.
Yeah, they want the toys they've seen in the the TV commercials.
Yeah.
One thing I am amused by is people talk about how like Christmas has lost its meaning. It didn't used to be all about commercialism. This is 1964 and it's already like this. So any boomer who tells you that is talking out their ass. Like, Christmas was like this when they were a kid. It's like this now.
The toys just weren't as cool. That's all.
Yeah.
They got lame toys. Okay, so what was your most exciting Christmas present?
Oh, I know this answer. Do I go first?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You got one.
Castle Grayskull.
Nice.
I got that one, but not for Christmas. That's how my father bribed me to jump off the diving board in YMCA swim classes. If you jump, I'll get you Castle Grayskull. Boop, into the water I went.
Oh,
is that right? If you jump, I'll get you Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
It was my OG Game Boy.
But
that was, literally life changing. Because before that,
there was no
really
portable, right?
Games. Well, also I'd never owned games before that.
Oh, is that right?
My grandmother had a Master System and I played that at hers a couple of times, but I think my dad had a PC that he played like Doom on, but I hadn't really gamed.
Right.
My auntie had her boyfriend at the time sold her his old Game Boy with like a bunch of games. That Christmas I got like both the Mario Lands and whatever else, and I was like 6, 7. And I literally live in Japan now because I became such a Nintendo nerd. So, that's a pretty important present for me.
No, I guess my actual answer would be technically for Christmas would be when I had that American Fender Telecaster. That's obviously the real answer. But as a kid, I think my parents didn't get me any Star Wars stuff, and then just like plopped half of the Return of the Jedi stuff on top of me at once for Christmas. So of course that was exciting.
Although the other one that always comes to mind was my Masterpiece Optimus Prime figure, because it was when I was, I don't know, like 17, 18, and I told my uncle that's what I wanted. And on Christmas Day comes around and he's like, I wasn't sure if you were joking, so here's the 50 quid. You can get it if you want.
Whoa.
So the next day we went to Toys R Us, me, my uncle, and my dad. And I'm going in, I'm buying that like top of the line Optimus Prime. And the whole time, my dad's like, are you sure? Like, are you going to spend all this money on a toy robot at your age? And the more he's going on, the more absolutely certain I am that, yes, I am going to spend all this money on an Optimus Prime.
Did it live up to the Masterpiece
title?
Yes,
it's dope.
Okay.
If you want to
admit,
you want to see the Optimus Prime, watch my Optimus Prime Numa Numa video on YouTube.
I do. I'm gonna see that because I dropped probably 30 to 50. I can't remember how much he was, but on the hot rod that can turn into Rodimus Prime.
Nice.
That was a huge toy. I'm like, right there, man. Looked just like in Transformers the movie.
Oh yeah, that's the same line, right? The Masterpiece line.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was somewhere between 30 and 50. I kept seeing it at the store, and I was like, by the time I was a parent, so I had no business buying a toy that expensive for myself.
I was a huge fan of Transformers back in the UK, which is why I've resisted buying any here, because it would be ridiculous to have 2 separate Transformers collections on 2 continents.
Yeah, I bought too many Legos a few years back, but that was fun. Because you can make it. Oh, you can be like, oh, it's a smart kid's toy, right? I mean, not for me, but I still get to. No, actually, I just had to sit there and sort them while my daughter built. I didn't really get to build a bunch of Legos, but
I had the opposite problem when I made that toy car at work the other day. There was this like papercraft toy car that came through with the Rebels. I was, I'll make that with my student Tori. He loves cars, but I'm doing the fiddly making it, and he's popping out the pieces. But he gets bored of waiting for me to ask him, so he pops out every piece at once. So I lose track of what order I meant to build it in. And they're like pre-stick. They're like stickers. So the ones at the end are losing their stickiness as I work. So he got a pretty dreadful little F1 car by the end. He was happy. But...
Yeah. That's what, you give it's like, okay, color, like tear the tape off. No, don't take the tape off. It's not time for that. For the love of God, don't take the tape off.
Next week.
I think we've had a breakthrough in therapy this week.
Not like those sharp, Martian kids. They're solid. They don't fuck around.
Well, I'll tell you what. This film did make me think a lot about Japanese kids.
Yeah, because they're looking on Christmas mostly from the outside, I guess.
Well, and also I do kind of feel like a lot of Japanese kids have had their childhood stolen. Like, I talk to kids who are like, I don't think they're even in junior high school yet. And they're like, oh, I study 4 hours every weekend. I have never studied 4 hours in my life.
Yeah.
Like,
that's hardcore.
The day before my like final exams of high school, maybe I flicked through the books for 30 minutes. And I didn't get straight A's, but I passed everything because I didn't care.
Yeah.
I took notes, and that was usually all I really needed to do.
Well, up until like the last couple of years of school, I was getting straight A's without doing any studying. I was that asshole. And like the way I always tell it is, first year of high school's straight A. Second year of high school's, I had a girlfriend. So, not only was I not studying at home, half the time I wasn't going to lessons. So.
I have to say that I had a very similar experience.
But I remember like my childhood was just constantly reading comic books, going out and playing in the woods, playing with my friends, playing video games. And I feel like what I learned from that has helped me in life a lot more than anything I learned from school. Like anything I've ever done successfully is just because I'm good with people and charming, which is because I spent all my time having fun with friends.
Well, you take the Martian kids and you sort of fast forward them. So they're having this like speeded up education, right? They're laying in their learning chambers or whatever it is, It's like, all right, at what point does that then, what point is it over? And then when they join life, where are they? If you really want to get into the mechanics of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Well, we see that here in the Japanese adults can be real childish because they didn't have time to develop that stuff as kids, right? Like, I think there's a big reason why the schoolgirl fetish is so huge in Japan, because they don't actually do any like mental development after like school age.
Wow.
And like the TV show, right? It's all this crazy slapstick comedy and poop jokes and silly costumes, because I think Japanese people are a bit like emotionally and mentally stunted as children. They didn't have time to develop or to get their childishness out of their way as kids.
There's a flip side to all of that.
No, these kids getting their one, they have the sleep spray. One, I'd like to have some sleep spray just as a practical joke, if nothing else.
I want the tickle ray that you used on Dropo.
Oh, Dropo is going to laugh anyway.
No, the tickle ray goes in the bedside drawer there.
Oh, yeah.
But I did feel the kids' little learning thing felt like kind of Vulcan, right? Like Spock's learning pod or something.
Very
was, yeah.
Which is funny because for the most part, I felt like the Martians were proto-Klingons. Like the villain guy is like, we used to be the planet of war. Whereas you can't introduce this childish things. We're a warrior race. This will taint our bloodlines and our honor. That makes sense, right? Yeah, Mars is the god of war and stuff.
Yeah. Klingons cards.
And also in that they're basically just men with mustaches painted a bit brown.
I dig that. I like any sci-fi that was before the space program. You know what I mean? Or at least before like the moon landing and things like that.
There's a shot of an actual rocket taking off.
Yeah. No, this was kind of, I don't know how predictive it was, but for space program and things like that. I mean, it would be nice to kind of compare and contrast to see just how prescient this was. Something we kind of take that for granted sometimes when it comes to the 60s. Like, where does this fall? Well,
this is the same year Trek started, right?
Yes.
In like pilot, like cage pilot. Yeah.
But like, it is quite Star Trek. Like the fight scenes are pure Star Trek.
Yeah.
There's a two-handed fist and grabbing the railing and kicking. And I was trying to look up, like, was there like the same stunt director or director of photography? Did they even have those in the 60s, or did they just put two men in a room and say fight?
Yeah, I did like the sets by and large. They were pretty fun. Like the toy factories
awesome.
properly.
They were totally great.
Wonky.
Mars looked so great.
I like the polar bear.
The polar bear. Okay.
Think about Star Wars. What color are the stars?
They're pretty white, right?
Yeah, I mean, think about Battlestar or anything. It's white stars. I did notice that TOS Star Trek and this movie had multicolored stars, and that's actually, that's what the sky actually looks like when you get in there, right? So it's in that way, it's more realistic than 2001.
Yeah, thought it was just a Christmas thing.
No. There are stars of different. I mean, if you stare at the sky on a nice clear evening, you can work that out too.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of blue and a little bit of red.
in the movie, that's kind of what I was thinking of. But yeah, I love the polar bear. God, I'm glad someone mentioned that. The guy in a polar bear suit.
And then the robot.
There needed to be a short film created after this one to explain the polar bear, though.
The polar bear conquers the Martians.
I mean, they're on the North Pole. They're not on an island in the Pacific, so it's all good.
It makes sense to be a polar bear there.
Yeah.
What did I see the article yesterday? It's a polar bear capital of the world. I forget where it was. And you have to live with the polar bears there.
Is it Svalbard?
Maybe that might be it. Yeah, I've definitely had some looks into that.
I like bears. So.
Yeah, I know. They got the seed thing too.
Yep.
Sorry, you had I was going to say something. Look on your face, so we all shut up.
I just was wondering how much of a hit this movie was in its day.
Quite a hit.
Really?
And it ran as like a matinee at Christmas time for several years. Like, it didn't like blow up box office records or anything, but it was a surefire. If we put this in theaters, kids will go and watch it at Christmas time.
I can't believe there's never been like well, I can believe it because it's a cult movie, but I think like a remake of this would do really well. I think like a big CGI laden remake of this would do great.
Like just an actual, like, I do feel like they're struggling for something different to do with a Christmas film at the moment.
I mean, this to me,
this is different, right?
Yeah, but the cult reputation of it, they would be all like, I think it would be a bomb because they wanted it to be a bomb before it ever even came out. Unfortunately.
What have been the recent Christmas movies? All I'm coming up with is Prometheus.
The Netflix has been putting out some fairly popular ones.
That's a great one, though.
Arthur Christmas was big a few years back. That was made by the Wallace and Gromit guys.
Right.
I loved Arthur Christmas. That was a good one.
The Christmas Chronicle with Kurt Russell as Santa was surprisingly okay.
Yeah. Is that the super violent one?
No. That's
one?
the Mel Gibson.
That's Mel
one.
Gibson. Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen that yet. Much as I don't want to support Mel Gibson, I do really want to see that film. No, I think
good.
The last one that came out and has been just accepted as like one of the classics was Elf, and that's coming up on like 20 years old.
Yeah.
I've never seen Elf because when it came out on DVD, a friend of mine that was still working at a video shop had a stack they were trying to give away of Elf DVDs at a party, and I'm like, this can't be good if this is what's up.
Elf's real good.
You can't make me watch this. I remember it had a Swank DVD with like super extra features for the time.
Well, a big chunk of it is just Will Ferrell doing
Platinum, New Line Platinum.
But Will Ferrell, when he does it for like a family-friendly audience, is actually pretty funny.
I like him. That was my impression of Elf. I'm like, you're giving this away like it's a coaster. Like that movies don't usually.
I think this is a generational thing because amongst my friends, it's considered like all
classic.
Yeah, it's up there.
So
what is your favorite Christmas film?
My favorite Christmas movie?
The Ref. It's The Ref, isn't it?
No. The Ref has Kevin Spacey in it. We don't really enjoy The Ref as much as we used to. No. My favorite is The Muppets Family Christmas. It's like actually a TV show, really, but it's almost an hour long. It's when the Muppets are then stuck they're snowed in with the characters from Sesame Street. So it's like super cool to see them interacting with one another. You know, Big Bird and the Swedish Chef in the kitchen. It's one of my favorite scenes from the whole thing. And definitely when you hear someone like Kermit talking to Ernie, it's just like the universe folding in on itself because their voices are the same basically. So yeah, I really love Muppet Family Christmas. That's like, I don't know. I usually have a playlist at Christmas time, but if I don't see that one, it really like I can feel it in my very soul that Christmas has not occurred.
It's been a while since I've actually watched it. Well, we work on Christmas, so.
Yeah.
But
it's hysterically funny though. I typically will put stuff like that on, starting with when the Christmas tree is decorated. Prior to being a parent, my Christmas tree decorating movie was Friday After Next. Right.
I put a film on making the tree or wrapping presents. So
yeah. I don't watch that one anymore. Yeah, a little too much profanity and gunshots.
Elf might be the number one for me.
Yeah.
Sorry. Die Hard, because that's a Christmas movie. I'm original for this thought.
No,
I do watch Die Hard at Christmas, and I do like that film, but that's not interesting patter in the year 2021.
No, it's been a few years since I watched it, but I think I'm gonna have to go Scrooged in the end.
Scrooge is great.
Yeah. The Manson Family Christmas. I still want to see that special.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I would just love to know they actually made all those little things and you could then watch them. Oh, I would love it. No, I love Scrooged. That's one of Henrik's favorites actually as well. We both really enjoy that one. So no, that's worthy of the list.
It's pretty peak Murray. I like The Man Who Knew Too Little as well, though, which is not apparently a popular opinion.
No, but I saw that when it came out. I remember loving that one.
I saw it on opening night. I must have been the only person who saw it on opening night because it didn't make any money.
Oh, no, I remember going to see that. Yeah, no, he was sort of on a roll at that time. Maybe that was the end of the roll.
The roll was sputtering. It's like that and Operation Dumbo Drop, and then the next year is Rushmore and starting to do that sort of stuff, and Lost in Translation a few years after that. That was I guess that's phase 3 Murray by that point. But
guy, his face looks like it's just about to fall off of his bones right now. Like there's a close up of him in Ghostbusters, and like, okay, is he a zombie? Because
oh, did you catch it?
Yeah.
Okay, your assessment
of Ghostbuster Afterlife?
Yeah, because it's hadn't shown in Japan yet.
Oh, well, have you seen the 2016 one?
Yeah. We did a podcast with you about it.
Right. So my thought is that I hope it makes all the Rowans of the world happy.
Is there a joke in it?
Is there a joke in Ghostbuster Afterlife?
Yeah.
Is there comedy in it?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. No, it's tailor-made.
I did not get that impression from the trailers.
Trailers, they just were really trying to sell it as, oh, no, really. No, there's black people, but we don't really let them do anything. You can come see it. So it's definitely a comedy. Works as great as a Ghostbusters 3. Evolution is probably my Ghostbusters 3 because let's be honest,
I really like that film. Yeah.
Basically Ghostbusters 3. But no, if we're thinking that we can't leave that original 2 movies at Ghostbusters 2 and we want to have the 3, this is a wrap it up kind of 3. They don't really need to make another Ghostbusters after this.
No, I'd seen some, since it came out, a few people actually saying they liked it. I was like, oh, I had a feeling it was going to be a train wreck, but it seems like it might be better.
No, it's good. It's sentimental. Like, did you see Super 8? Of course you saw Super 8.
Yeah.
It made me think of Super 8.
The trailer made me think of Super 8.
Yeah. No, it's tailor-made for all the people that wanted a Ghostbusters 3. Very, very tailor-made for those fans. And like I said, I hope all the Rowans of the world are glad because the universe has bended to your will.
Yeah, so it bended better than Star Wars did.
The fandom for that is even more toxic than Ghostbusters. So I can't even. There's nothing would make a Star Wars fan happy. No, none of them. You can't do anything. You'd literally have to. I think it would have to be the Aryan nation would have to be the stars.
Ouch. Okay. So with the Martians, Santa Claus,
there were a couple shots in this where the Martian costumes just did look a bit too much like blackface. They couldn't quite decide if they were green or some kind of tan color or gold. I guess because it was like a little bit dark, they were just in blackface.
Ooh. I didn't think of that, but
well, you can do that and still be Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah. Oh god. How horrible.
I mean, I'm going to steal someone else's story here, but Gary Dutton, I listened to on a lot of podcasts. He told a story where he went to a wrestling show and they were doing face paint. So he got his face painted like gold dust. But then he wanted to get his face, he wanted to wash it off before he took the train home. And the gold washed off just fine. But the black just spread around his face as he washed.
Oh.
So he had to take the tube home in blackface.
Oh, no.
Shower.
And see, it's not an excuse if you get called out on it. If you're famous, you know?
Yep.
It's like, well, you did it.
I don't know. It'd be hard to try. If the more you try to explain what actually happened, the worse it would probably pan out for you.
I've been down the mines.
You keep the gold. You got to own it if you're going to go gold dust.
Well, that's the thing. I would definitely have just gone home as gold dust, so I wouldn't have had that problem.
Yeah.
I ran a fun run as gold dust once. I was gold dust and my buddy was stardust. Good times. The one other thing I noted, so they have a little interview with like their space expert. So this is a film from 1964, and our space expert has a German accent. Oh, that guy's a Nazi.
His name was even like, it was very close to Werner von Braun. It wasn't the same, but it was like, Werner von Block or something, right?
Like, yeah, one of the heroes of this film is definitely a member of the Nazi Party.
Well, yeah, that's what they did.
Like a post-war German NASA scientist.
Because they dragged over Werner von Braun, and not only that, he became buddies with Disney and did a bunch of TV shows. So everyone did at this point in time think of the rocket scientist as the Earth's Nazi, basically.
Yeah, suddenly all the Star Wars haters and the Abrams haters are going like, gotta check out this Santa Claus Conquers a Martian. Starting to sound better and better.
Blackface, Nazis, polar bear, nice white bear, not none of this brown shit.
If you're shitting white, you might want to see the doctor. That's my bit of advice today for
whatever happened to white dog shit, eh?
They're not scared anymore.
People clean it better?
I don't know. It's just, for some reason, that's like a classic joke.
Okay, because they're pretty good about cleaning in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Not like in the States where you got to watch where you're walking.
So you're telling me a shrimp fried this rice?
Now I'm going to think about that. What happened to the ghost poop? Oh, ghost poop. You remember that?
It's this Mandela effect out of existence because of CERN.
That's why. School in 10 feet of ghost poop.
CERN dragged in all of the white poop when they turned it on.
It sounds to me like both of you enjoyed this movie. Am I right?
I legit quite like this film. I think it's half decent sci-fi. Like, I mean, it's classic sci-fi stuff, but it's all put together nicely. They eat pills. They have education pods and communication helmets. Their society has gone to science and lost its heart. And then that also means it's actually a half decent Christmas film, right? Because it's like an extreme version of, the modern city guy needs to reconnect with his family roots. So I think this film does what it sets out to do really well.
Yeah, and even if they didn't set out to do that, this is the story we're going to go with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't like it quite as much, but I was pleasantly entertained. But yeah, my main focus was uniting Droppa with a bandsaw again. So I don't know what it was. It was maybe it is the you made the Jamie Farr joke, but yeah, I like MASH, but yeah, Klinger gets really annoying real fast.
I think we've hit a nerve.
I don't
Discovery.
Love Droppa. But like, he's fine and he's there for the kids, and I think kids would probably be amused by him, especially in 1964. Yeah. Maybe I don't think today's kids would sit through this.
No, No, it is very
punishment.
tricky.
It's like,
But I think that's why they need to make at least like an animated version or something. I think it is worth making a new one, I think, because like Luke said, I mean, it does have its heart in the right place, and it does work as a science fiction. I was glad to hear someone say that, because I agree with that.
That kind of made me start thinking, who would make that animated version?
Netflix.
I mean, like the actual
Illumination.
creators. Netflix doesn't make anything, right? They distribute.
Oh, actual creators?
Yeah. Who would you
Probably
put
not
in?
Americans.
Yeah.
No. It would
Luke,
be
any
one of the
ideas
many.
there?
Although, because this, like I said, this thing fits Japanese children surprisingly well, and it's all about a weird outside perspective on Christmas. I'd love to see the anime version.
I would go in on that. Yeah.
Having not seen a new South Park in the past 10 years, I could see that working.
No, I don't.
You wouldn't give it those guys?
I don't want any cynicism anywhere near my Christmas.
Okay.
Like with Christmas, I'm just 100% pure schmaltz. I turn off all my thoughts. Like, I don't care. Shut up.
I already told you Scrooge is my favorite Christmas movie.
And it's still schmaltz by the end.
Oh, it is schmaltz by the end, but it's got plenty of cynicism too.
So yeah, like a super schmaltzy Christmas ending gets me every time. Ending of Elf when the dad joins in with the song, tearing up. Like, even fucking Jingle All the Way, right? Real dumb shit, but gets me every time.
I saw that toy from Jingle All the Way. They've got it now in the toy stores here.
Shut up! You can get a Turbo Man.
I mean, I'm sure I saw a Turbo Man a few months ago, and I was like, no way. I should have bought it.
Luke's about
Amazon
and they're 50 quid on a
50
quid on a Turbo Man.
No, it was with those like a section of retro toys or whatever, or toys for old people, with the alien figures and all of that other stuff. The $20 GI Joe that's the same size as the old one, but yet it's $20.
I guess I'm the Grinchiest of us here, but I am the one that's about to spend a week in full Santa playing a ukulele. So
I think you will.
Oh, okay. I could get one. It would cost me $180.
What? Oh, I didn't see the one there. Okay.
I'll wait till I see it in a shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it was not that much.
It's also, this takes me back to what I said when we watched Jingle All the Way. It's actually a crap toy.
It's just Turbo Man.
Like, that Turbo Man looked cheap as shit in that film. This one does too.
No, it's just if you're a fan of that movie, which I am, like for many years, nobody talked about how great Jingle All the Way was. But I think it's great. I
scroll down, it's like, you might also like this overpriced Boba Fett and this overpriced Darth Vader. So, like, yeah, they know who's buying these.
What's you got a potato head there? Okay.
Yeah. My dad had a decent collection of potato heads going for a while. Like, I think someone got him a Darth Vader one for Christmas, and he liked it well enough. So we just kept getting him all the Star Wars and Transformers potato heads.
I finally got to watching the Orville where the helmsman pranks the robot by just taping Mr. Potato Head things all over him. So he walks on the bridge with it. That was fun. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I've pranked you now. So he's trying to teach him about practical jokes. He's like, okay, now it's your turn. You got to do a good one. He wakes up the next morning, his leg has been surgically removed.
That is a good prank.
Yeah, it is a good prank, which he eventually admits after the getting past his rage of not having a leg anymore.
This is like when
well, he can regenerate one on a spaceship, right?
My friend Jay was telling a story of like a school trip where his friends were being real dicks to him. But I was just like laughing along and siding with the bullies, essentially.
No, it's funny.
It's like what they've done is apparently they just decided it'd be really funny if he didn't get any sleep. So every time he started to fall asleep, they smacked him in the face with a pillow.
That's what they do in Guantanamo Bay too.
They put in so much commitment that the next day it was all of them who felt like shit and were falling asleep at the Lion King. They stayed up all night deciding he couldn't have any sleep. I was like, that is kind of horrible, but I've got to respect the commitment to the bit.
I woke up with braided hair on the school trip bus. It was kind of fun, I guess. Okay. Anything more we got for the Martians? I think we covered most of the bases.
It's one of the rare
I mean,
occasions I made notes and I've hit all my notes.
Okay.
no, it's a good bit of world building. It's like just enough to move the story, and there's not a whole lot of unnecessary, jack offery or fart smelling.
What is Zsa Zsa Gabor's sci-fi flick? Somehow I got in my mind this was it, but it's not.
I don't
She's
know.
in
I should know.
It's like 65. It might be a little bit later, but yeah, she's in something equally whack, and I kind of thought we were getting into that, but it wasn't
No,
that.
I'm more of a Barbarella and a Galaxina fan.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But yeah, if you want to spice up your Christmas with some cheese spice for your Christmas, this is probably worth having a look at, especially when it's free on YouTube.
Yeah, it's just not. I think it's got a reputation of being terrible, and I don't agree. But most movies that have a reputation for being terrible that are old, I definitely kind of, I take a bit of offense to it, because some movies are bad, quote unquote, because they were trying hard to be good, but they just weren't. But I think Christmas, or I keep wanting to say Christmas on Mars, but people were walking out of Christmas on Mars when I went to see it. I was one of the only people left. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians was really made as entertainment, and it was goofy, and it was self-aware, so I don't think it needs the extra commentary.
In the end, does Christmas work better on television?
I don't think you go to the theater for Christmas, but I think a feature-length film on the TV is where it's at.
Okay, I went to the theater on Christmas a lot.
But did you go and watch the Christmas films?
No.
That's what I mean. Because Christmas films, you want to watch it in the living room with your family. Hot cup of cocoa, all of that jazz.
No, gosh, no. At Christmas time, there's movies you put on in the house and stuff, but going out to a Christmas movie, oh boy, no. At Christmas, I really want to see Texas Chainsaw. Hey, that's usually the stuff I gravitate towards.
You got to edit that now.
A little salt with the sugar.
To me, it's like all the action films used to be set at Christmas, so I like watching a couple of those. Lethal Weapon, Die
The
Hard.
Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah, all that jazz.
Yeah, that's a good
Batman
one.
Returns.
Yeah. Batman
right.
Returns. Yeah, that came out in the summertime, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. I remember seeing that Linux, or I guess many a film we're seeing.
I mean, again, if you've gotten to this point in the podcast, it is free. Maybe don't sit and watch it with your full attention. But stick it on. I think you would be surprised at how not crap this film is.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was hoping someone would say that, because I often find myself defending the movie that's just legendarily bad. But I think something like Dario Argento's Dracula, I think I still haven't gotten on the bus with that being actually good. I still was no good at all, and so I'm waiting to turn the corner and be like, this is actually a lot of fun.
I will throw out one thing on this movie that did notably suck is the cinematography was super flat. Not that I think they were gunning for any arty shots, but it was just like, stick the camera, stand in front of the camera, act.
I think it was the director's one and only feature film.
So if there is something that did make it look a little cheap, it would be just there was nothing going with the camera in this one.
Yeah, anyway, it's a very low budget movie, and that's obvious. And so for them to pull all the color out of it with the equipment that they had, I don't think was going to necessarily happen. And so, yeah, I agree with you there. There's a sort of drabness to it. And that extends to the Martian makeup, which, like Luke said earlier, was brown. It didn't look green enough. It was mostly brown. So there you have it. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, totally racist.
Well, with that, I guess tell them where you're at.
Oh man, have I made a Christmas movie? I feel like I have. Disaster for Christmas, probably, starring Blitzen. Gonzoriffic.com, Gonzoriffic. For gift ideas, I recommend Space Boobs in Space, Bad Girl Dracula, Ariella Jones, and the Home Video Vixens.
Give your loved ones the gift of Space Boobs in space.
Yeah. Oh, they'll love it. If you love space and boobs, it's pretty much the best. Don't take my word for it. Look up Will Wheaton's blog where he praised the movie. That's my claim to fame, Will Wheaton.
Okay.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, you can find more episodes by going to Twitter at MLSFS120. Also on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Anywhere where you can get podcasts, you can find Matt and Luke's Sci-Fi Sanctuary. Just search for it there. If you want to help support this podcast and keep it online, go to patreon.com/podcastios. You can find more podcasts like Matt's Twilight Zone podcast, Time Enough podcast. You can find me talking about Pokemon, talking about Monster Hunter. You can find Matt talking about educational films and cult films and weird documentaries. And you can just throw us $1 a month to help keep this shit online, because, you know, we ain't getting any sponsors or nothing. You listen to this shit. And if you're alone this Christmas, you know, which, you know, some people are. I think the world is not back to normal yet, no matter how much everyone wants to pretend it is. Maybe you want to get a little bit of company. I think I will actually be streaming on Christmas Day at 8 p.m. UK time, 5 a.m. for your boy. So go to twitch.tv/LukeLovesPKMN.
You're playing with your ball.
Yeah, I can't resist it. I wore this hat for like the whole Christmas week at work last year, and all day I'm just rolling the ball back and forth across my chest.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho,
Speaking of ho, ho,
no.
ho, it's not the first time I've ridden my balls back and forth across the chest.
Merry Christmas.